All right, it's Tuesday, April 2, almost 7 o'clock, on a little bit early. What a sell-off. My God. This thing has been moving. All right, I just found 4 charts. But it looks like I might be losing some or all of them right now. So I'm going to have to look for more charts in a second. Wow, so that's unusual. Just getting started here. Had 4 charts picked out. And all of them, first entry long, second entry long, that failed. They all lost in the same spot. So it's a good thing I wasn't ready to trade yet. Because that's what I do. I come here and I pick out charts that every second entry is working for my profit target. And then those are the charts I trade. So I got to pick new charts. What I usually do is I usually pick the charts I'm going to work with and then start the stream once I have them picked. But in this case, I got to start over with the process. So let me just start doing that, I guess. So start off the week pretty good yesterday, 2-0. If I kept trading yesterday, I actually could have been like 4-0. But what I really like about what's been going on lately is I'm done by 9:30 in the morning. Pacific Standard Time, which is great. You know, if I could pull off trading and make some money and do it in, 2 hours in a day, every day, that would be ideal. All right. So I'm gonna have to go to the higher tick charts. All right, so I've got one. Let's see what else I can find here. This one's very close to the other one, but it looks good. So what I do is I just look at every 100 ticks. I'm looking at tick charts, and every 100 ticks, I'm kind of checking to see if the chart's consistently good for second entries for my profit target. So I've got 2 charts right now. So 3 charts. This thing's been going very sideways since I've gotten on. Another one very close to the last one. All right, I've got 4 charts again. So it'll be interesting to see if this kind of bottomed out here. All right, so gonna start with PA2. No, I needed some good luck with my first trade of the day, every day. Possible to qualify for a payout in 2 trades. So I just need 2 wins before I get 2 losses. Or, take that back. 2 wins before I get 1 loss. So the first interesting level will be the opening price, white dotted line. See what the daily looks like below the EMA. Start the day here. All right, so hopefully I could keep this this week. Keep it going like I did yesterday. It's going to take so little for me to get where I need to get to on this account. Really, just 2 trades probably does it. And then I have the evaluation. I'm going to be 1 trade away on that one. I was checking out, there's so many new streamers like me, so many people that are streaming just starting in the last, I don't know, 3 to 6 months. It's interesting, some different strategies I've never seen before. Just kind of looking around last night. Some people still seem like they're just figuring out their strategy. Other people are trying to build new strategies, which I find interesting, even though it's not the way I trade. They're trading completely different, but it's really interesting to see the ideas that people have. Seems like there's a lot of kind of novel ideas out there about new and different ways to trade. And I think what I'm doing is pretty interesting and different from what most people are doing. But it's interesting how I'm using second entries, but not applying any of the rules that go with the typical second entry strategy. And it is my 1 year anniversary on Apex. So this would be a great week to get a payout if I can make it happen. I start to feel that hesitancy feeling, just knowing how important the first trade is going to be. This is the thing that I struggle with when I get this close to qualifying for a payout, is just trusting the system, taking the trade. But when I get this close to a payout, I start getting in my head and start thinking about, is this a good one to take or not? So I gotta figure out how to just take the trades when they come. All right, definitely hesitant today. It's just these days where you have these big pushes down in the pre-market. I don't know, something about it makes me a little bit uneasy. This was technically a first entry, second entry right here. Just, it doesn't look like two legs, but it ticks up barely. So it'll be interesting to see if this gets to the profit target or not. I didn't like this, so I just waited. Looks like it's gonna go up now, maybe. Maybe not. So if this comes down below this bar, that would be the first entry that doesn't work on this chart. I'm not supposed to be picking and choosing. I'm supposed to just take every entry. I also think because my first 4 charts that I chose this morning, they all picked up a losing second entry right away when I started. So that also makes me a little bit uneasy for the day. This is almost about to be a losing entry. Let's see what happens here. Oh, there it is. All right, so I avoided a loss. I don't know why, just having a weird feeling about today. So I'm not going to trade with this chart anymore. So I'll just stick to the other charts I have for now. Yeah, also, I mean, it's just, a huge down day and going counter trend. It did make a new low. But just not feeling good about trading counter trend in this kind of market right now. So just being a little bit extra careful, I guess. Again, this is a second entry now here on this chart. So I'm just going to wait and see if it works. I'm not going to go counter trend here just yet. On other kinds of days, I wouldn't care if it was counter trend or not, but just the way this market has found a way to continue to go lower, I'm just going to wait for a good spot. It looks like this one's going to try to work here. All right, so that would have been far enough for my scalp. So good to see that this chart is holding up for me. And just has similar trigger on this chart. First entry here, second entry here. That worked too. The problem when I have days like this where I'm just picking and choosing, usually I wait just long enough to pick up the first loss of the chart that I end up playing on. So just kind of all kinds of reasons to be a little bit uneasy today. don't really have any kind of read on the market other than this thing has really gone down and made new lows and new lows. So in theory, every time it makes a new low, it could be the new low of the day. But we just have to, I just got to wait and see. The other thing I was thinking about kind of yesterday, after yesterday's session, I only took 2 trades. I could have taken a couple more after after my last trade. And, according to my system, I'm really supposed to take those trades, right? So I should have been 4-0 yesterday, but I was only 2-0. So I'm, in the grand scheme of things, is that 2 wins that I should already have in my pocket, and if I'm on an 80% win rate, that makes me think like, oh, is my next trade supposed to be a loss because I should have already taken 4, but I only took 2. It's funny when you start thinking about statistics. It's like, how does it apply? Because it's 80% of the trades I'm taking, but what happens if I'm manipulating when I'm taking trades or not, and not just following my edge? And lately, it seems like in the past weeks, it seems like when I don't take the trades and I miss some winners, I inevitably end up getting a loss as the next trade when I get into this picking and choosing with the system. So just gotta kind of gauge that and keep my eye on it. I feel like every time I start doing that, though, it is when I pick up a loss. So I just want to, be careful. And I got to remind myself, too, if there's ever a day where I just don't take a trade, like, that's fine, too, if I'm just not feeling it. So, today I already avoided 2 losses because when I got on the chart, I had four good charts. And if I took the first trade I saw, I wasn't ready for the trade yet. But if I was ready for it and I took it, it would have been a loss as my first trade. And then we saw that last chart that I was just looking at, that would have been another loss. So the system is not infallible, and it's going to pick up losses. So now I'm just trying to figure out ways to make my system be the best it can be for me. Because right now it's 80%, which is pretty good, but it's not like amazing. 80% is all right. Like 85 or 90% or better would be incredible. Would be really amazing. So while I've been doing well, there's a bit of luck involved in my trading strategy, I got to admit. So I'm just always looking for ways to improve what I'm doing, and if there are ways to avoid certain kinds of losses, then I'm going to try to avoid them, but I don't want to avoid them at the expense of I don't want to avoid a loss at the expense of 4 or 5 wins, so I don't want to be skipping a bunch of trades like I used to and only getting, 1 trade in a day and, down to 3 trades in a week. I think for the way I'm playing all these multiple Apex accounts, it's better for me to have a higher volume of trades, even if they don't all work. I mean, no system is going to have trades that all work. So yeah, so at this point, I still have 3 good charts I'm working off of. But just because of the nature of the day, I'm just being a little bit wary. It's definitely not the kind of day I wanted to see this morning, though, when I woke up. Because I find these kinds of days to be a little bit tougher for my system. So on a day where you're getting close to a payout, a day where I'm getting close to a payout, it's like I want to see the kind of price action where I know my system does really well in it. And it's amazing how when you don't have a payout and you're this close to your first one, it's just like it feels like everything rides on it, right? And it really does in a way, because everything, I have like this whole idea and vision for how I want to trade the system moving forward, but it is all kind of depending right now on getting that payout, getting myself to basically break even, and then having the freedom to say, okay, I had $2,000 into this. I've been testing out the strategy. I'm now 3 full months into the strategy, and it's looking good. It could look better, but it's looking good. And so, I'm willing to, once I get the 2,000 back in my pocket, I'm willing to go another 2,000 deep if I have to, and go a little harder and a little faster and a little bit more aggressively. But I'm not willing to put another 2,000 in before I get 1 payout back, right? So I'm kind of at this like crucial juncture of my trading here on Apex, where I really want to lock in a payout, and kind of, to me, getting that payout will be the indication of like, okay, phase 1 is complete, and let's move into phase 2. It's kind of how I'm looking at it. All right, this will be interesting because you have a first entry, and above this bar would be a second entry long, but you also have a new low. It could be a first entry short, and then this could trigger a second entry long and then fail and become a second entry short. So obviously not a great looking setup for long, but it is technically going to be a second entry. typical day, I would be willing to take this long if it's set up and triggered just based on the chart. But today, going along on a setup like this just looks suspect. So just having a hard time trusting the charts today. So now the second entry long looks like it's failing, but what I don't want to do is, if it does fail, I don't like taking a trade on a chart that has a second entry that lost. So if I take it the other way, then I'm violating a rule. All right, so that second entry long just failed. And I'm not going to take the second entry short on this chart because that's just not how I'm trading my system. So I'm just sitting on my hands here. Kind of all three charts are kind of in a similar spot. But I'm not going to watch this chart anymore. So let's see here. So I'm down to two charts. I'm just going to continue to sit on my hands. Now I've got a first entry, potential second entry setting up here. Had a first entry, second entry on this engulfing. I think went far enough that would have got my scalp. Yeah. Could have gotten my scalp taking the engulfing short. Now both of the charts I have remaining are setting up this second entry long. First entry would be a second entry above this. I'm just sitting on my hands. I just kind of don't like today at all. If I was playing a different strategy, I think I would have liked this day better, but I just have a sense for some of my bad days or some of my days that were not as great were on days like this. All right, so on this chart, this actually triggered a second entry right now. So it'll be interesting to see if that works. And my second chart looks like it's about to trigger. All right, so this has almost worked for a scalp for me. Not quite. It's the kind of day where I almost feel like maybe I should just turn off my PA2 and trade something else, trade an evaluation or something that doesn't matter as much, just because I can tell today is not the best day for my system. See, I've already lost 4 charts plus 2. I've already lost 6 charts that I'm willing to trade off of. Looks like this is about to work. I was just noticing something on this chart. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my throat today, my voice. First entry short, ticked above, ticked below here. So that's a second entry short that just failed. Right? So I've got one chart. So, I mean, how many trades is that I could have just had losers? I mean, literally, if I was taking every entry, today would be a massacre. I think that's 4 trades I could have lost on already. I think there was only one trade earlier that if I had taken would have won. So today could have been just a bloodbath for me. And I don't know what this one's doing, but if this second entry long doesn't end up working, then I have no charts. In which case I might have to start looking to see if I have charts that work for just like an 11 tick scalp. But I mean, usually 740. I mean, usually I have a couple of trades by now. So I don't know if this makes me look really smart that I have no trades today and I've avoided the losses that I've avoided, or if I'm just lucky that I'm hesitant because I'm trading VA2 that is so close to a payout that it made me hesitate not take trades today. But I just really haven't liked anything I've seen today. Oh. Like on any other day, this trade I would take without thinking about it. And it might still work, but I gotta say I'm glad I haven't taken any trades today. It's just, it definitely helps me to just follow my instinct and what I know about price action, and on certain kinds of days to just take it easy and not lean into my system. You know, I think some of my worst days trading the system are when I've ignored kind of my sense of the market and just kind of almost blindly just taken trades according to my system regardless. I think those were my worst days. Like some days, it's so weird. Some days I know I could just trust my system, just trust the chart, trade the chart. And then there's days where I just get this weird feeling and I'm just seeing what's happening and just, you know, like my instinct is just like, don't take these trades. And literally, like when I have that feeling and I take the trade anyway based on the system, those are the days where I've gotten those multiple losses. So I'm waiting to see what happens here, because if this chart doesn't work for this second entry long, if this ends up failing down here, then I've got no charts to trade off of. So at that point, I'll have a choice. I can either keep looking for other charts, or I can look for other charts going for a smaller scalp size. This thing's turning around now. I mean, it only needs to go like just barely above this wick and it would work for my profit target. I think it needs to go one more tick. All right, so this one would have worked after all that. So that would have been a heart attack for me in my PA account, having that much drawdown before it worked. So what am I going to do here? I guess I can just look for other charts. Well, I still have one. The market's really just been sideways since I've been on. I mean, definitely a downward bias, but I mean, I started right around here, and the price is like exactly where it was when I started. Kind of a head and shoulders at the bottom of the chart. Sometimes that can mean it's going up, like a W. just not seeing anything. This is interesting. Here's a new low, first entry, second entry short. That would have worked. But yeah, I just don't trust my charts today. It's a pretty weird feeling because over the past 3 months, I've really built up a lot of trust for my charts overall. And I'm willing to just trade any second entry that looks like almost anything, really. Today just doesn't feel like one of those days I can do that. But this chart still is good. I mean, this is the one chart that every second entry is can continue to work for so far. Honestly, now it's at the point where I've skipped so many. I mean, not so many, but skipped enough trades on this chart. I feel like if I were to start taking them now, I'd start getting a loss. This is how I pick up losses. I skip a bunch of entries that I'm unsure about, and then by the time I decide, okay, I trust this one, that's where I'll take a loss. So there's a first entry, second entry above this bar would have worked. Second entry short engulfing this inside bar would have barely worked. And second entry long from this new high, first entry long, second entry long would have barely worked. Barely didn't get stopped out, barely worked. Oh, and then from this new low, first entry, second entry short off the inside bar would have worked. So was that 4 trades just right in there? But those 4 trades all worked amidst, what is it? 3 other charts that got losses in that span of time. So just depending on which chart I was trading, I either get these wins or I get losses on those other charts. So just kind of not a great day. Not a great day for my system. All right, yeah, so I'm just not seeing anything going for more than my 11 tick scalp. So I'm going to kind of start looking at these charts for just what happens if I'm only going for 11 ticks. Do I have any good charts? So I'm just going to be here in the background, kind of looking around while I continue to watch this chart and see if anything sets up that I like. I don't know. This might be a first day in a long time where I don't have any trades. It's starting to look like that kind of day. All right, I'm just going to be looking for charts just for 11.6, see if I can find something that's consistently working. What I think I might do is continue to follow this chart and lower my profit target that I'm going to go for if I do take a trade to just 11.6 on this as well, and then see if I can find any other charts. No reason on a day like today to push and try to capture more than 11.6 on a day where my charts are clearly having issues. So yeah, I think that's going to be my game plan. I'll just keep looking for setups now. Or keep looking for setups, but also keep looking for other charts. This is interesting. New high, first entry here, so anything above the next would be a second entry. Again, just not loving the idea of being counter trend if anything sets up in this area. All right, so I found a second chart. Pretty big size tick chart. All right, so this is a second entry long. Obviously, I didn't take it. Almost worked right there. One tick shy. There it goes. So that would have worked. So this chart continues to work. And I continue to not trust it. So for 11 tick charts, I have 3 charts that I can look at. I'm really not sure what I'm going to do here. It's 8 o'clock. It's been an hour for me. And I feel like 5 trades in here that would have all worked on this chart. So I've already missed out on, if my strategy is I win every 4 out of 5, well, I've already lost or missed out on 5 out of 5 on this chart. So I don't know if I want to tempt fate today. I know the longer that the day goes on, the more likely the chart picks up an entry that doesn't work. So I just feel like I'm just asking for trouble if I try to trade today. And then I double that with kind of the pressure I feel for myself to get trades for this PA2 account because I'm so close and we're in the payout window. So I have till Friday. So that means if I don't trade today, there's 3 more trading days this week for me to get 2 more wins. And really, if I'm only going to be able to go for 11 ticks, because that's always possible. If I can only get 11 ticks, then it's 3 more wins. So in a case like that, that would put the pressure on that I'd need to have a trade for all 3 days. Although, getting a trade 3 days in a row is not the hard part for me with the strategy. So it's just knowing that I have limited days to make it happen for this window. It'd be great if I had some kind of read on this market. I thought I knew where it was going to go. Here's the daily again. I mean, this thing, it looks like it's rolling over. But you never know if it's going to bounce and close at the EMA by the end of the day. Yeah. Looks like it's probably in this range. A big part of me is just like wrap it up today, come back another day where you can trust the price action a little bit better. Maybe I'll take a look around on YouTube and see if anyone else is, how everyone else is doing today. All right, just taking a look around YouTube. Seems like all the people that I kind of follow are mostly doing pretty well. Alpine Trader has that opening range trade at the regular open, the regular hours open. Let's see what that looks like. So that's right in here. He wins on that like every day. So I wonder which direction he did it, because he usually won't get in that trade if it's much past a minute or two after the open. So I'm guessing he went short and survived it. I'm guessing he got triggered into a short somewhere here or here or here. And even if he had a drawdown, he ended up getting a win. All right. Well, I've just been looking at other YouTubes and watching this chart. And there is a first entry here. So there's the possibility that if a second entry set up off the open price, I might consider that. So I'll have to see what happens if it gets up there. Again, this is on a chart that every second entry has worked all day. But we are getting later into the session for me and my system, 8:20. I know the later it gets, the more likely a loss on the chart will come. So I think any setup that doesn't happen below this opening price is not one I'll take. But if it does kind of set up right off of this area, then I think that would be one I'd be willing to risk. If it happens down here, I'm just gonna, even though it's at this pivot point, I'm not gonna take it. I think my daughter's coming. Be right back. All right. I also know that anytime my daughter comes in here and there's a potential trade setting up, I know to just ignore the trade. There's so many times in the past where she's come in and I've taken the trade, even though she's in here with me. It's like I didn't take the sign and I end up getting a loss when I should have just said, "Oh, she's here. I'm going to spend time with her and not take a trade," and then she would have saved me. But that didn't trigger there. So if I'm able to, if she's not in here, and if it does set up here, I'll still consider it. But if it happens down here, then even though I have this level, just on a day like today with this big push up, this is the biggest push up we've seen since the market opened. So I'm just gonna chill. It's funny, I didn't even realize that 7 o'clock was the news. That all happened, and I don't know what I was doing or thinking, but I definitely wasn't thinking about news. It didn't really register in real time to me. Usually those are pretty big moves, I think. All right, interested to see how this bar closes. So it's going to close above, it looks like. So yeah, definitely not respecting that level. All right, so it looks like it's going to trigger here maybe. Definitely not taking that trade. Although there's plenty of room for it to work, but not today. Not for me. It looks like it's going to trigger here. Just feeling more and more likely that I'm not going to have a trade today. And that's just going to have to be okay if that's the way it is. That trigger? Not yet. All right, so we got a trigger now. So let's see if this chart continues to work. Obviously a terrible signal bar, but that doesn't matter for my system. All right, looks like it's going to fail. All right, didn't fail yet. All right, is this thing going to end up working? Seems like it's going to end up working for 11 ticks. Not yet. So this is interesting because there's technically a first entry here above the red bar. So it could trigger, I guess, a second entry, technically speaking. Definitely interesting that this is all happening like right at the top of these bars. It's kind of like was resistance is now support. Right. I really don't know if this is going to work or not. I'm also really glad I'm not in this trade. And there it goes. Loss on the chart. So that chart is burned, but I mean, from the time I've been on, there were 5 trades in this that all could have worked. Of course, there's those other charts that would have had losses. So I'm probably better off doing what I've done today, which is just stay out of everything. So this chart, see, this is I don't know if I hit the mute in time for that sneeze, but sorry if that smashed your ears. Let's see. Let's go lower here. Yeah. It went lower here. So this was a first entry short here. It went up, and now if it ticks below, that would be a second entry below this candle or below this candle. Again, just staying out. I feel like this one would be more likely to work than the last one. Respecting this level on this chart. So interestingly enough, it's also the same on this chart. Those charts are very similar. Very, very similar. Just not a great day for trading for me, but I'd rather have no trades than losing trades. I could have easily had 4 losses today. That's I feel fortunate that I just avoided that today. So right now, today feels like a huge win. Because if I had taken a loss on PA2 with 3 contracts, I could easily be down $1,000. So today I feel like I won $1,000 because I didn't lose it. A boring day for a stream. I wonder when the last time was I didn't have a trade. I'll pull up my YouTube channel here and see if I can find how long it's been since I've gone an actual whole trading session without a trade. My last red day was March 26, which was a week ago today. Interesting. Tuesday. Looks like it's been a really long time. Okay. March 12. March 12 was the last time I had no trades, which was also Tuesday. Something about Tuesdays? So it was, let's see, 1, 2, 3 weeks ago. So that's not bad. If I'm going 3 weeks between days where I have no trades, I can live with that. This is interesting here for me because this is setting up off the opening price potentially for a first entry, second entry short. Don't want to risk fate getting late in my trading session day. I'll tell you what, I'm going to turn off PA2 in case I do decide to do something here. Maybe I could take out an evaluation 35. Thing is, I just don't like how low it's getting now. I don't like how low it's getting at all. By the time it triggers, there's just not a lot of room to the bottom of these bars, the bodies. I think I'm going to let this one go by me. I just don't like how close it is to the bottom here. Although there's enough room probably for 11 ticks, but it is off the, just shy of the opening price. But look at that. Yeah. I mean, it probably works for 11 ticks. If it triggers. Okay, I think that actually triggered now. Yeah, it's gone 1 tick, so it's triggered. It didn't trigger yet on this chart. Now it triggered here as well. So it's on both charts at the same time. Which makes me think it's even more likely to work. But today's been one of those days where I've seen, when I started today's session, I saw 4 charts not work at the same time. I lose all 4 right off the bat. Seems like it should work for 11 ticks though. Still just shy. If this had set up where the close was up here, I would have taken it with the room to get to the bottom of the green candle. But this is just obviously going to be some sort of resistance, even if it's going to break through enough, you know, just noise alone could be 11 ticks. All right, here we go. Just close. Looks like it's about a tick shy right now. There it goes. All right, so I believe that would have worked. I think it actually needs to go one more tick for it to have definitely filled. There it goes. Yeah, so that would have worked. This bar 2 is massive. 76 ticks. Within the amount that I would still trade. All right. I'll be right back. All right, so just took a couple minute break. Coming up on 9 o'clock here. Definitely, no matter what happens, I'm not going to trade a PA today. So that is off the table currently. I still would be willing to trade like evaluation 35. I have two charts that are good. So, I mean, it's still a possibility, and I'll hang out and see if there's something that might come up that I'd be willing to take. This was definitely the closest to taking a trade I was all day. But again, like I said, if it had closed just a little bit higher, if the bottom of the bar had been more around here, then I would have traded it for sure, just knowing to have room to the bottom of these bars. But this one was a little too close, considering the kind of day that it's looked like for my strategy. Didn't feel worth it to me. Yeah, I'm already prepared to not have any trades today. I mean, it's already 5 minutes to 9. I mean, yesterday I stopped at 9. I had 2 trades. I could have had 4 trades by then. Today I could have definitely had trades. The question is, how many losses would I have? And like by the time I had some of these charts, I mean, which one was it? This one? Yeah, this chart I actually had all morning. So there was those what was it, 4 or 5 trades in this area that I could have taken those. So there's like 4 or 5 trades I could have won for sure, plus that last one on this last chart. But I easily could have had 1, 2, 3. I easily could have had 4 losses today too. So depending how the losses came, I might have called it a day before I even got to some of the wins, or you just never know. It's hard to say. But I definitely would have had anywhere between 1 and 4 losses today if I was taking every entry. So at best, I would have been 4 and 4 or 5 and 4. I mean, I only have, what do I have? 8. I have 8 accounts right now. So if I stuck to my rules of just trading 8 accounts, I could have been 4 and 4, which isn't great. And the losses would have been on my PA account. I mean, for sure, my PA2 would have got a loss today. So I am happy with the day just to avoid that one loss on that one account. Yeah, see what happens here. All right. Do I just call it? I feel like I'm not taking a trade today. I've come this far without a trade. Should I just say today's not going to be the day? I mean, this is the range we've been in since open. And really, since I've been on, yeah, that's the range. So just traded inside of 60 points for the most part the whole morning. So even though there was a lot of action in the pre-market and right after the market opened, it's just been a whole lot of sideways for the most part. I mean, look at this. It's funny. When I started was just before 7. It's around here, 6:55, I think. And look, we're exactly at the same price as when I started this morning. Yeah. So on one hand, I feel fortunate that I've got no trades because I've got no losses, and there were definitely plenty of losses that came up on my charts today. And so I feel fortunate that I was able to avoid those. But on the other hand, I feel a little bit frustrated for not having any trades. But when I look at it like this, it's like, well, yeah, there were setups, but there were wins and losses. I mean, it literally would have been a 50-50 day. So I'm going to chalk today up as being a good day for me to recognize when it's not a great day for my strategy. You know, it was pretty clear right off the bat when I had 4 charts that I was working off of, and they all 4 failed on the same setup at the same time. And I had to look for all new charts, like as soon as I was on stream. And then to lose charts after that, I mean, I lost 3 more charts after that too. So 3 or 2, I forget, but I mean, I think I went through at least 6 or 7 charts that all picked up at least a loss. So considering everything I just said, I think the only way for me to feel about today is feel good about it. You know, I was able to take past experience with my strategy where I've seen days like today, you know, where it just doesn't work out that great. And funny enough, it seems like it happens a lot on days like this where it just like has a big push in a direction in the pre-market or in, you know, the overnight hours, whatever you want to call it. It seems like a lot of times those are the days where it's either a bad day for the strategy or I lose charts, you know, one way or the other. So I wasn't paying attention here, but this actually first entry and then second entry above this bar triggered. So I guess I might as well stay and see if this works or not, and maybe end the stream after that. I just don't see the point of taking a trade today when it's not a day for consistency on my strategy. And this looks like it's going to try to take out the second entry long. If it does, it'll take it out on 2 charts at the same time, and then I'll have 0 charts. So it'll be the perfect time to end the day if that were to happen. Basically, it needs to get under this bar. And it's happening on both of my still active charts. Here's the other one, first entry and then second entry above the red bar. I mean, it doesn't look like a good second entry, but it is a technical second entry. I really don't know what's going to happen here. I mean, it's acting like it wants to figure out a way to make the trade work. Seems like it's going to find a way. In a way, I was kind of hoping it would just fail, because then I'll have no more charts that are good. And it'll just solidify my decision to end now. Not get tempted into something that loses on the next trade or the next setup that comes. So yeah, I'd honestly like to see this push down and take this out, and that way I can just feel good about clean day, stopping at the time I like to stop, and my risk management strategy kicking in to say, hey, no more charts to trade, no reason to continue. I'll tell you though, waking up this morning was rough, so I wish I just stayed in bed. And I would have wondered, could today have been the day where I was within one trade of getting a payout? So, can't do that. All right, what's this thing going to do? Multiple tries to get lower. This market's so slow, it could take another 20 minutes to find out the result of this trade. Or not trade, but setup. The other thing I don't know is if my day would have been any different if I was only looking for charts only for 11 ticks to start the day. Because I look for charts that can get me more than 11 ticks. So I'm not sure if I would have had different charts for any reason to start with, if I was only looking for 11 ticks, or if I would have somehow been more inclined to take a trade. And then whether those trades would have worked or not, just no idea. But that is how I've been trading lately, is I just start off my day automatically looking for charts where I can get more than 11 ticks. And that's been, I think, largely working in my favor. There's only been a couple times I can think of where maybe 2 or 3 times where it went for 11 ticks, but not for more, where I could have had a win with 11 ticks, but I ended up with a loss. The other thing I could do in those cases is I could just move my stop to break even +1 once price has moved, 11 ticks. But I think then I'll get a lot of break even +1s instead of trades that would ultimately end up working, just because NASDAQ can move so much. I mean, to move 11 ticks is like nothing. I really have no idea what price is going to do. It's like this is really just right inside of the area where the most price action has occurred for most of the day. I mean, look at that. It's just like it could do anything from here. It'd be interesting. How much of my day? Well, I started at 6:55, so see 10 minutes there. Just these two bars. 12 minutes. $25 minutes, that's 37 minutes. Nine minutes. 46 minutes. And our 26 minutes. So what did I say? 46, 52, an hour and 12 minutes, if I calculated that correctly. An hour and 12 minutes spent inside between what? Between 250 and 235. So an hour and 12 minutes spent inside a 18-point range, something like that. No wonder. No wonder I've got no trades today. I feel like this kind of trading day is good for some people. I feel like there's some people that can trade this really well. I think if I wasn't using my system, maybe today would have been a good trading day for me, honestly. But just trading the way I'm trading now, and I'm so committed to it, there's no way I could have done any better than what I've done today. Zero trades. I for sure would have taken losses today, for a fact. I mean, if this thing goes up from here, for all I know, this thing could bounce around in here for another 20, 30 minutes before it decides whether the second entry ultimately would have worked or if it would have ultimately failed. So look at this. It looks like the support's still going to hold here. All right. Is it going to give it up? No. Yeah, imagine if I was in this trade. It would not feel good. And this level is definitely trying to hold, right? Look at that. The market just wants to stay mostly in this little area. How long have I been on here? I've been on 2 hours and 25 minutes. So half of the 2 hours and 25 minutes was just in between this little area of this range I drew. Half the time. That's crazy. All right, so obviously I'm not in any trades today, and I'm not going to get any trades today, but I'm just waiting to watch to see if this first entry long, where is it? Yeah, first entry long, then it went down, and then above here is a second entry long. I mean, it's kind of convoluted, the second entry long, honestly, because I could look at it like it's just a first entry, but I think because after this bar, it went up and then it closed below, right? And then it went up again. So that's why I'd consider a second entry in this case. So I'm just waiting to see if that ends up working or failing. It's been looking like it's going to fail. It has to go below this red bar, and it'd be a failure. And if it does go below that bar, then the two charts I currently have working still, both of these would be the first losing entry on the chart, and then I'd be completely out of charts. So it'd just be a nice clean way to end my day and call it a day and stop trading if that were to happen. But either way, at this point, I'm not taking any trades, and I'm going to be ending my day here in a couple minutes. Look at this thing. It just wants to stay in this area. So it's crazy to me. I don't know if I've ever observed quite this sort of thing before. At least I never noticed it. You know, when you have an open and you're basically going sideways all day. I mean, look, when I started my day about 6:55, this is where price was. And look at where price is. I mean, look, here's the line. We've literally moved a few ticks in 2.5 hours. So it doesn't get any more sideways than that. It doesn't make me feel... Recognizing that makes me feel not too bad about not having any trades today. And I try to stay away from drawing things these days with this strategy, but sometimes I draw just to observe something like this, just to have an idea of like, what is it? All right, so this thing, 46.75. Looks like it's going to end up working. Right now it's gone 8 ticks. So it would need to go 3 more ticks for it to work for my 11 tick target. If I had taken it, would have had to sit through all of this. Talking about 20 minutes, but being this trade already, if it was the trade I took. Is it going to really go all the way up there and get within 3 ticks to just end up failing still? At this point, I can't walk away until I see what the result of this is. So if I was in this trade, I definitely think I would have thought I was going to get my 11 ticks at that point. But it still didn't do it. But it would have been one of those cases where, it's like you have the opportunity to get out for like a small win or break even. And then, but if you think you're going to get your full scalp after sitting through all of this for 20 minutes, you probably wait, right? And then that'd be really painful if you just end up with a loss after all that. So right now where price is, you're in the red currently in this trade. So now I'd be thinking like last chance to get out break even, right? Then you get out break even and then it goes for your full profit target. Oh, here it goes. There it goes. All right. So after 20 minutes, that trade would have worked. And so I still have 2 charts. Where all the second entries are still working. But I'm gonna call it a day. It's 9:30, just shy of 9:30, and clearly not the kind of day for my system that I could trust. Easily could have been a 4 and 4 day, I'm guessing. I mean, for all I know, I could have taken like 3 or 4 losses in a row and just called it a day and not even got to the 4 wins. I'm not sure what the order would have been, but all right, I'm gonna wrap it up. So no trades today. 2-0 for the week, still 100% for the week, and 161 wins and 40 losses overall for the year. So 201 trades, and right at 80%. So can't be mad at that really. And then I remain within potentially 2 or so trades of a payout here, and within probably 1 trade of passing an evaluation here. So all in all, I'm actually content and happy with the day. I think I avoided a number of losses today. Just trusting my instinct about the day and the market and what this kind of day is for my strategy, and the fact that right off the bat I had 4 charts that were good that all went bad at the same exact time. It's not often that I see that with the strategy over the past 3 months. And so it's almost like just seeing the signs for the day, right? And so if I had taken the trades that came right after finding new charts, I would have picked up some early quick losses. And then only one chart that I was looking at in this area, there was 4 or 5 potential trades where they could have all been winners. So maybe I would have picked up some winners in that area. It's just hard to say. But the fact of the matter is, I know for a fact that if I had taken a trade today, just one trade, PA2 would have had a loss. This account would have had a loss. It would have been any of the first trades I would have taken, it would have been a loss today. So I easily could have been down $1,000 on that account trading 3 contracts. So I walk away feeling very lucky and fortunate to have another chance tomorrow. Better charts, better price action, and hopefully better results. So having said all of that, 80% discount. Today is the last day. Last day of the 80% discount. You can use this code or any other. This discount was supposed to end last week, and they extended it for Easter. So I'm really pretty sure that they're going to go to 71% discount. That's usually their like default worst case scenario discount that they offer. So you could use this code or any other to pick up any 80% discounts you want to get on your evaluations today. And, I would say likely this turns into 71% discount tomorrow. And I'm not sure if this ends at market close today, because the 1-day pass that they're running, the promotion for 1-day pass on the evaluations, that does end at market close today. Not at midnight tonight. So it's possible that the 80% discount closes at the session close, or if it doesn't close at session close, it closes by midnight tonight, East Coast time. So get those in if you're looking to have some extra accounts on hand until the next best discount. Who knows when it'll come. I don't expect a 90% discount before July 4, or maybe Memorial Day or Labor Day. So it's kind of a wide window there. And I think more likely than not, the next discount will be 80%, and it might be a month until that happens. So that's just my guess. I'm not going to buy any more 80% evaluations. I typically have been trading with 2 more accounts recently. But I explained it yesterday. I have a free code for an evaluation that I won from another YouTube site. And so that gets me a free account for 1 month, and then it renews at 50%. So I'll just treat that account like I need to pass it in 1 month. And then if I do blow up either one of these 25K PA accounts, they'll offer me an 80% discount for 1 month also. So I'm good for now. And I've, as you can see, I didn't even get a trade today. So I've got plenty of accounts to work on. I think having 10 was maybe a couple more than I really needed. And really, I had those accounts just in case, just in case things went bad and I lost a couple of accounts, that I would still have them. But there's no reason for me to have more at this point. I think right now I'm just so focused on getting the payout on PA2. I've traded it for 39 trading days, and right now I'm the closest I've ever been. I've been approximately this close 3 or 4 times now on this account. So almost there. Just got to stay patient, pick my spots, but not pick too much. Just trust my system. Trust my instinct. All right. I think I've said it all. I do stream every day by around 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 10 a.m. Eastern. And I'll be back at it tomorrow. Hopefully it was a good day to skip trades today, so that I'm prepared for a nice little win streak tomorrow. All right, I'm going to end it here and get my wrap-up video recorded, and I hope you had a good trading day, and I'll be back tomorrow. Come check it out. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate it. All right, I'm out of here.